Okay, I got some really good news. The president is on it. $3.7 million transferred to the Wuhan laboratory by the National Institute of Health during the Obama administration under Fauci is now under investigation. The president just announced it. Take a look.
Thank you, Mr. President. U.S. intelligence is saying this week that the coronavirus likely came from a level 4 lab in Wuhan. There's also another report that the NIH, under the Obama administration in 2015, gave that lab $3.7 million in a grant. Why would the U.S. give a grant like that to China?
The Obama administration gave them a grant of $3.7 million. I've been hearing about that. And we've instructed that if any grants are going to that area, we're looking at it literally about an hour ago, and also early in the morning. We will end that grant very quickly, but it was granted quite a while ago. They were granted a substantial amount of money. We're going to look at it and take a look, but I understand it was a number of years ago, right?
So you are.
When did you hear was the grant was made?
2015.
2015. Who was president then? I wonder.
So this is huge, huge news. Now, if you don't know what I'm talking about, we have a video on the channel right now that is going mega viral, okay? It's my interview with Dr. Buttar, and he talks about the $3.7 million, what that money did, and how Fauci got around the Department of Homeland Security order to stop doing testing on coronaviruses in the United States. Listen to this. What I think you're talking about is the moratorium that was placed, and then $3.7 million from the National Institute of Health was transferred to China so they could continue this research, even though the moratorium. So they basically outsourced this research to China. Is this the same topic we're talking about here? This news is just breaking?
Yes, this is exactly right. So it goes back to 2014. The U.S. government decided, based upon certain virologists at that time, saying that, look, there's no justification for this kind of research. There's a potential for it to cause harm, cause a pandemic. So there's no justification for us to do this type of research. So the government passed a moratorium in 2014. Fauci approved approved budgets to be monies to be section for this type of research. So basically, and I'm getting really, every time I think about this, it gets me really flustered because I'm so angry that he basically broke the law. He more than broke the law. He created this entire cascade that we're seeing with the world shutdown was created by this initial aspect back in 2015. He broke the law. He went against government moratoriums. He took taxpayer money and he funded research that has now led to the COVID-19. In 2017, he was documented at Georgetown University saying that there will be a pandemic that this presidency will face, that this term will face. How did he know that in 2017 that something was going to happen in 2018, 19, or 2020? You can't predict the market from 3 days from today, what's going to happen. How did he know that there was going to be a pandemic? He stated the president of this president will face a pandemic. The exact quotes, I don't want to say the exact words. You guys have the video footage. My point is that
there is no question that there will be a challenge to the coming administration in the arena of infectious diseases, both chronic infectious diseases in the sense of already ongoing disease, and we have certainly a large burden of that. But also there will be a surprise outbreak. There will be a surprise outbreak. There will be a surprise outbreak.
When somebody starts making these type of statements, and then they were involved with the breaking of the law to fund the research that American taxpayers paid for, that then goes to Wuhan and now trying to create this diversion and say that it was China.
That was just a clip of the larger 45-minute interview. I will link to it down below. You need to see the full interview for the full perspective. But the good news is that Congressman Matt Gaetz is also onto this, okay? He went on Tucker Carlson and just took China to task and talked about the money that you are paying with your taxpayer dollars to fund the Chinese labs that are creating these pandemics. Listen to this.
So at best, Americans are funding people who are lying to us, and at worst, we're funding people who we knew had problems handling pathogens, who then birthed a monster virus onto the world.
Follow the money. And it leads right back to Fauci and then right back to the National Institute of Health underneath the Barack Obama administration, friends. Okay? There you have it. How do we get here? Maybe we should ask Barack Obama. Maybe we should put Fauci on trial and ask him what's going on. How did that money go through? You know, he actually addressed the question about if the virus was man-made. And I'm going to show you the clip here. He was, you know, the guy's never lost for words, but he knows he's under the microscope right now because the president's about to investigate that money and where it went, how it got there, and now he's sweating bullets. Watch this clip.
Ask Dr. Fauci, could you address these suggestions or concerns that this virus was somehow man-made, possibly came out of a laboratory in China? You studied this virus. What are the prospects of that?
There was a study recently that we can make available to you where a group of highly qualified evolutionary virologists looked at the sequences there and the sequences in bats as they evolve. And the mutations that it took to get to the point where it is now is totally consistent with a jump of a species from an animal to a human. So, I mean, the paper will be available. I don't have the authors right now, but we can make that available to you.
So he's still maintaining that this thing was just jumping species or whatever he says. But we know that there were studies on coronavirus that were done in the United States. If there's anybody that knows, it's Fauci. He knows exactly what that thing is. Okay? Because they were studying it here in the United States, and then they shipped it off to China when the DHS said stop. So I'm going to show you another clip here of Dr. Buttar again. And this time, he takes it to the next level. And I think he's saying what a lot of people are thinking right now. Listen.
Is Fauci directly responsible for this pandemic because he maneuvered the money, he maneuvered around the moratorium, kept this chimeric research going in China? Is he directly responsible for not just the pandemic, but also the response that's killed the economy, put, 17 to 22 million people out of work? Is Fauci directly responsible?
I'm going to say this. I think that I've seen some petitions going around. I know Dr. Shiva said that Fauci should be fired. I think that's the nicest thing that could be done to Fauci. I think he's a criminal. He's broken the law. He's going against the government. I mean, to me, that seems like it's a traitorous thing to do when the government has passed a regulation and he's at one of the highest levels in the NIH. He's got a directorship at the NIH, and then he breaks the law, he breaks the moratorium, and then funds research against something that could potentially cause harm throughout the entire world. And he's in collusion with the foreign government to.
So now you have Fauci colluding with the foreign government during the Obama administration, funding coronavirus studies at a Wuhan lab with your money. Now, thankfully, I'm going to throw it back to the president here. Just earlier, just a couple hours ago, he said he's going to be taking a look at the money. And they got a lot of money in the National Institute of Health budget. A lot. He details how much money, and then he goes back and says, we're going to take a look at the $3.7 million that Fauci approved to send to China. Listen to this.
And NIH is giving away a lot of money. A lot of money. We give away for many years, they give away a lot of money. And some people complain and some people don't. Some people are extremely happy. So we're looking into that also. They're giving away approximately, as I understand it, recently more than $32 billion a year. $32 billion. And so we've been looking at that for a while, and we're going to be having some statements to be made about that. $32 billion a year. It's a lot of money, and we want to make sure it's being spent wisely, and we've been doing that, by the way, and we'll have some statements on that. And those are much bigger numbers than what we're talking about with national. If you look with the with our friends from wherever they come from. 500 million is a lot of money, but it's not a lot compared to the kind of money that we give out. I think over the years, it's been averaging about $32 billion. $32 billion. So we've had our eye on that one for a while. We also talked about the lab in China, where I guess 3.7 million was given some time ago. And we're looking at that very closely. Chief of Staff has that pretty much under control. But it's money that, too bad it got spent there. But that was spent, what year was that, Mark? It was 4 or 5 years ago.
Over the last 6 years.
6 years ago, approximately. So we're looking at that.
So I told you it's good news. This is a really good development. We're getting closer to accountability here. And that's where we want to be. Okay? Your taxpayer dollars being shipped off to China, creating the pandemic itself. It is unacceptable, and it is criminal. Absolutely criminal. So do your part right now. Share this video to the 4 corners of the internet. Let everybody know the president is on the case. And hit the link down in the description. You can watch the full interview with Dr. Buttar. It is now going mega viral. It's got like 1.7 million views already. Absolutely wild. So we're making an impact. You're making an impact. When you share these videos, when you send them out an email, when you send them out across a text message thread, you are having a massive impact. So continue to impact the global narrative, my friends. The power's in your hands. Use it. Share this now.
You possess the power to impact the global narrative. Please share this report, and to get more videos like this, become an Next News subscriber by clicking the link below. Thank you for watching the Next News Network.